Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the online classes. Well, let's study the poem A Thing of Beauty. A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats. Let's talk about the poet first. John Keats was a British romantic poet. Although trained to be a surgeon, Keats decided to devote himself wholly to poetry. Keats's secret, his power to sway and delight the readers, lies primarily in his gift for perceiving the world and living his moods and aspirations in terms of language. The following is an excerpt from his poem Endymion. Endymion, a poetic romance. Right? The poem is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion, a beautiful young shepherd and poet who lived on Mount Letmos Valley, right? He had a vision of Cynthia, the goddess, the moon goddess. Yes, the enchanted youth resolved to seek her out and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea. So, my dear students, in this poem, the great romantic poet gives a definite message. A thing of beauty is a joy forever, and its beauty increases with the passage of time. It never passes into nothingness. A thing of beauty moves away the pall. Pall means covering of unhappiness that covers our dark spirits. The beauties of the earth are lovelier than the lovely tales we have heard or read. Right? So, this is what we have in this beautiful poem, that is A Thing of Beauty. Right? Let's read it out. I have framed each and every phrase meaning as well as the poetic devices have been elaborated over here for your help, right? Now let's see. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Right? So, the poet in this extract wants to say that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. A joy forever, a pleasant experience. A thing of beauty, what does this denote? Any beautiful object, thought or deed or any idea, a beautiful idea. It has a pleasant experience. Forever means for the memories of the experience, or you can say the experiences are everlasting one. Okay, so a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its beauty it always increases. Its loveliness means its effect always increases, keeps on leaving its impact, right? Its impact on all of us. It will never it will never end. It will never pass into nothingness. Means with the passage of time, its effect will not fade away. It will not end up. right? Its beauty always goes on increasing. It will never be reduced to nothingness, right? And it always provides a shelter, but still will keep a bower quiet for us. Bower means a shady place under a tree, right? So it always provide us a sound sleep. It will keep a bower, it will keep um place, it will give a pleasant shelter, a place in the shade under a tree for all of us. It provides us a sleep full of sweet dreams, which is full of, sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Quiet breathing means effortless breathing, peaceful breathing. While we go into the lap of nature, either we go to some hill station or in the village where we have, a variety of trees. So under the tree, the oxygen which we gain, that is pure, right? And we don't need to, make some pressure for breathing. It is effortless breathing. And that sweet sleep which comes under that shady place is far far better than a room which is having an AC, right? So it is far more better, it is effortless. So here the poet is describing that kind of beauty of nature, right? The nature which is having a joy forever. It always increases with the passage of time and it never fades away. It always maintains bower, a shady place under a tree where we have a sweet sleep full of sweet dreams and effortless breathing. I believe it is clear to you. Now let's see the next one. Therefore, on every morrow means on every morning or the next day, are we reading? Reading means weaving or making a flowery band. Flowery band, a band made out of flowers, or you can say the better relationships, right? To bind us means to be connected us to the earth, and earth is a symbol of nature, right? So therefore every next day or on every morning we are weaving, we used to weave, or we are weaving or making a flowery wreath or a garland or a better relationship to bind us or to be connected us to the earth or the nature, right? Made for our searching. There are certain lines. Yes. A flowery band to bind us to the earth, in spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble natures of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. So here in this extract, the poet wants to say that all we all of us, what do we do in the morning? We start our day by reading the flowers, or making some good or new relationships just to bind us to the earth or the nature. And here, a flowery band, right? In spite of despondence. Despondence means disappointments. Spite of means in spite of. Those disappointments of the inhuman dearth. Dearth means lack of. Inhuman means against human values. Of noble natures. Our earth is not having, some noble people. Some people who are of noble nature. Of the gloomy days, very few have a noble heart, right? There is disappointment and dejection all around the world. But in spite of all of them, if we go into the lap of nature, the poet says, in spite of all the disappointments, in spite of all those inhuman qualities or the dejections or the lack of noble natures, sad days, right? And of all the unhealthy ways which dominate our lives. In spite of all those, our darkened ways means evil ways. So, in spite of disappointments, in spite of all inhuman qualities, of an unnoble person, and those gloomy, those sad and unhealthy or evil ways, right, which are dominating our lives, or which are we searching every day. Yes, in spite of all these things, some shape of beauty, some beautiful thing that removes the pall means the covering of what? Covering of sad feelings, covering of sad feelings from our dark spirits or dark hearts, right? In other words, we can say the poet wants to convey here that if we go into the lap of nature, then whatever the things which are dominating on us, likewise evil ways, or you can say unhealthy ways, or unnoble persons, right, they all go away. All the disappointments that fades away when we go into the lap of nature, right? Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon. So the poet says all these things, the sun, the moon, trees, what are these? They are the symbol of nature. The beauty of natural objects that takes away the gloom from our sad hearts. And such the sun is the symbol of energy, moon is the symbol of beauty, trees old and young, they are the symbol of flora and fauna, right? So they all in collective way symbol of nature, right? So what do? They are a boon means a blessing, right? For what? For simple sheep. Beta, in Bible, sheep is a symbol of human being, right? And the shepherd, the endymion has been taken up as a shepherd, na? So shepherd in Bible, it is the symbol of Jesus Christ, who had come, or rather I must say, who had come on this earth for the well-beings of all the human beings, right? So the poet says whether it is a simple sheep means a human being, or a daffodil flowers, right, that are blooming among the green surroundings, with the green world means among the green surrounding, right? So it gives equal blessing, equal shade to either it is a human being or a daffodil. It gives equal blessings to each and every minute particle of the world or the nature, right? They live in and clear rills माने क्या होता है? Rills is, rills are the rivers, the small rivers. Okay, so and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert made. So whether it is a small river, clear means transparent one. Covered means shelter of bushes. Shelter of bushes. That for themselves a shelter, a cooling covered make. They make a cooling covered, a shelter of bushes that is made. You must have seen that there are trees on the either sides of the streams, right? So it makes a shelter against the hot season. Against the hot season, it makes its own shelter by those thickets, right? Thickets, or you can say those bushes. Okay, the mid forest break, and the forest is also fragrant, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. The breaks, the forest breaks, right? They have been made more beautiful and grand by a sprinkling of blooming musk roses, right? An American rose or a wild rose, there is a complete difference in the fragrance of them, right? So the wild roses, they are rich in fragrance. Okay, so the poet wants to convey here that all beautiful things of nature, they are a boon for humanity. They are a boon, a blessing for humanity. The sun, the moon, old and young trees, they provide a shady shelter. It is a boon for simple sheep, whether it is a simple sheep or human beings. Sheep is a symbol of human being, right? Daffodil flowers, which are blooming among the green surrounding. It gives a boon for all of them. Small streams with transparent water, they make a cooling covert, a cooling shelter of thickets, right, of bushes against the hot season, and they protect themselves from the hot season, and same, they protect us also against the hot season. Without water we can't live. Water is called the elixir of life. Why? Whether you take any kind of cold drink or so, but you feel happy when you get a cool glass of water, right? So it is really important for all of us. It is a great boon for us, right? So he says that the rivers, they also make shelter for themselves, and the mid forest break, that is also rich with a sprinkling, right, with a sprinkling of blooming musk roses. So beautiful scenario has been depicted by the poet, right? The beautiful part of the nature has been shown over here, and that beauty can be seen somewhere else. Where? And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. So beautiful lines here also. The poet says these are the beautiful things, right? These are the boon for humanity. All the beautiful things of nature, they are a boon for humanity. And same, where we can get this boon? In the magnificence, grandeur. Grandeur means the magnificence, and such too is the grandeur, the magnificence of the doom. Doom means the end of the day, doomsday, right? On the doomsday we can find that magnificence. Where can we find that? The magnificence and beauty surpasses grandeur of the dooms. We can find that magnificence, and that also surpasses the grandeur of the doomsday that we have, imagined for our mighty dead forefathers, which we have imagined for our mighty deads or the forefathers. That also gives us, a kind of blessing. At the end of the day, it's not easy to get the birth or to get die, right? And at the end of the day, it's really terrible, and that terribility can be, surpassed only when we imagine the magnificence, the grandeur of our mighty deads or the forefathers, right? So in simple words, we can feel the beauty, the bounties of the nature, right? We can feel the blessings in the beauties and the bounties of the nature, as well as in the magnificence of our elders, of our forefathers, right? When it is the time of the doomsday, that can be surpassed by, feeling the magnificence of our forefathers, right? So the beauty of nature, the magnificence of our forefathers, that can, take away all the sufferings, all the disappointments of the modern world, right? And it can be a blessing for all of us, right? For all of us. This beauty excels, it always increases, right? And it is just like an endless fountain of immortal drink. Immortal means that lives forever, that never dies, right? That immortal drink which pour unto us means which comes unto us from heaven. Heaven means paradise. Brink means corner, edge or the corner, right? So this beauty excels any other, as we have heard or read in our lovely tales. And the beauty of nature sprouts from a heavenly fountain. We all have heard it that the immortal drink can be, tasted only in heaven, right? But the poet wants to say, which we feel that that kind of immortal drink can be taken from heaven, that can also be taken into the lap of nature. We can also feel that nectar or that blessing into the lap of nature, right? So that endless, fountain that sprouts from a heavenly fountain, it pours unto our, hearts as heavenly bliss, and it can be taken, it can be felt into the lap of nature. And it is just like immortal nectar which comes from the brink of heaven, and that can be felt into the lap of nature. That's what the poet wants to say. Yes, here also, just see it. Yes, the same things are here. So, I believe the poem is clear to you, right? John Keats wants to say that in spite of all the disappointments, evil, darkened ways, or, inhuman qualities through which the world is filled up, the man can have a blessing into the lap of nature once, and then He can feel it into the grandeur of the mighty deeds or the forefathers, right? And which we have heard or read that the heavenly drink, that is, immortal drink, can be taken only from the heaven. That can also be taken in the lap of nature, and that pour onto us, that immortal nectar that pour onto us from the brink of nature, as well brink of heaven, as well as from nature, right? Beautiful poetry written by John Keats. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Yes, of course. Whatever the thing gives us, peace, a comfort, its joy always increases with the passage of time. It never ends into nothingness, right? I believe it is clear. Thank you.